let's talk about the press conference that we had. Let's hear it from the man himself, EDC, Every Dollar Counts, our general manager, Eric DeCosta, about the Ravens and the what's affectionately known as the Liar's Lunch, as it's called. So obviously during a pre-draft press conference, they don't want to tell you everything that they're going to do during the draft. So that's why it's affectionately called the Liar's Lunch for the Ravens. So we're definitely going to check that out. He is talking in this today about the future of our tight end, Mark Andrews. A lot of speculation. So let's get it from Every Dollar Counts about Mark Andrews and his future with the Ravens.
Eric, we asked John about this at the owners' meetings, but you have made trades before with veteran players during the draft. Do you fully expect, there's been a lot of speculation about Mark Andrews' future in Baltimore. Do you fully expect him to remain with the team? Is he a big part of what you plan on doing this year?
Oh, man. I never know what's going to happen, Jeff. And I would never want to say this or that, but I can tell you this. Mark Andrews is a warrior, and he's played his butt off for us. And his competitiveness, his talent, his attitude, his leadership is so valued here. And he's a great player. And I think we're in the business
non-committal,
keeping as many great players as we can. So there's always a lot of unpredictability with the draft. You just never know.
Eric,
so there it goes with Every Dollar Counts, Eric DeCosta. Non-committal on Mark Andrews. This is I'm kind of making a bigger deal out of it this time because this is the second time with EDC, and he's asked about Mark Andrews, where he's kind of had a chance to say, well, he's part of our future. They did pick up the option, but this is twice now he's kind of being non-committal. So there's a reason for that, right? He's not just doing that just out of no reason, right? He's either A, trying to set up a trade or set up some interest or build interest or do something, or something's around here where he's, for some reason, he's non-committal on Andrews. Now, I don't know if I think they will keep him if they will, but I think there's got to be more to it because every time he's asked a question about Andrews keeping him, he kind of gives an answer like that. So he could be having a trade in process, having something, but it's something. That's two strikes now. He's not that he's doing that for a reason where he's non-committal on Andrews. So interesting to see in that. He did mention a couple years ago, even though this is several years old, that Hollywood Brown, the draft day trade several years ago when they traded Hollywood Brown in Arizona, he said that was done on Monday. So he didn't announce it to Wednesday, trying to be coy because he said gave some answer like, well, he didn't want teams to know that he didn't want a wide receiver or whatever. I don't know. But he basically did it on the Monday before. So he held it quiet for a couple of days. I thought that was interesting as well, that Hollywood Brown is now in Arizona. Hollywood Brown, I think, is back in Kansas City this year. So it'll be interesting to see. But I thought that was kind of fascinating that he was traded him the Monday before the draft. EDC said it is worth it to take a kicker is one available. I think personally, I think EDC DeCosta, Eric, GM Derek DeCosta, he was saying that if it was one available, he would take one there. It's worth it to draft one if it's worth it. And I kind of agree. That goes to the philosophy that some teams think that you should never, ever, ever take a kicker under any circumstances. I personally don't have that philosophy with any player. If a player is good enough, you should draft them. So I do believe they're taking a kicker. I think they're kind of like to do with everything, just being coy, kind of soft pedaling, whatever. Because there's possibility they may not get one, and they may have to, face the music with Tucker, the barring that happens. I think they're gonna absolutely look at taking a kicker in the draft. No big surprise there. He said he did not know if he was going to make all 11 picks. He said if he didn't have a crystal ball for sure that if he was going to take all 11 picks, he didn't know if he was. I think it is a very good possibility he can pick all 11. I don't know if he will, but I think he's certainly not above taking all 11 draft picks. All of them won't make it for sure. I mean, you're not going to have 11 rookies on a 53-man roster, but I think for sure, I think there was a possibility of him taking 11 players. Not a lot of drafts here pre-draft. I'm saying here in the draft season, a lot of times, some years there's a lot of trades. There's hasn't really been any here so far as trades. And one more thing here before we get to the better or worse segment. Rather than focus on the track on the draft, Ravens re-signed Ronnie Stanley to a 2-year deal that allow him to retire as a Raven. I think that does say about how he felt about the tackles in the draft, or at least where the Ravens were picking. So he didn't want to be forced into moving up. So that tells you it probably could have been an emphasis in the draft if they had signed Ronnie Stanley. They didn't sign Ronnie Stanley. So they felt it was important to go ahead and take a left tackle. Obviously, they're re-signing Ronnie Stanley. It's big. This weekend, when we do the draft, we're not obviously going to be talking about the Ravens with a left tackle in the first round at least, because they went ahead and signed. So there you go. So there's some things about the Ravens pre-draft press conference that I just wanted to go over that a little bit. The what's affectionately called the liar's lunch for fans there. You can see the coyness in these press conferences too. Like we'll get to Mike Elias later, but man, Eric DeCosta, I would say, is more of a straight shooter than Ozzie Newsome was. He'll say something. He'll kind of hint to something where Ozzie would kind of never say anything. Ozzie would never really even drop hints on things or whatever. Mostly what he would say is like the process and and all these things. But Eric, you can kind of read the tea leaves at least with some of the things he's saying. So we'll see here. We got a draft next week. Lots of draft coverage with Raven Sports podcast next week with the NFL draft. Okay, so let's go to our larger NFL content here. We're going to go over this today. For better or worse. So let's get Angela and Marcus and Richard and Keisha and all those characters up there. So better or worse, I think like Tyler Perry now has had some lousy stuff like out here lately. Some of these movies have been really missed, but back in the day he had Medea and a lot of good stuff. And my name's Charles, obviously my sister-in-law, one of my cousins, Charles, every time like she sees me because of Tyler Perry. So what we're doing here is we're looking at the NFL offseason and which teams got better, which teams got worse. Not just teams that, not good and bad, but who improved and who dissents. So in the offseason, who has done more to win, who has done less, who is descending and ascending. So when we're talking about better, like much better, maybe 3 games or so better. Worse, 3 games worse. Some teams are 1 to 3 games, some teams about same. Right? So let's go ahead and check it out here. Who got better in the NFL and who got worse? Now, we still have the draft next week, so that could change this a little bit in certain cases. And I think for the most part, we know, there are teams that have gotten better, that have gotten worse. Who's gotten much better? New England. New England had the most cap space, I think, of any team in the league. They went ahead. I think they definitely got to upgrade at coach with Mike Vrabel. Drake May, I think, is developing for them. So I don't think they finished last at all. I definitely think they got 3 games better. I think also, too, it helps them. They're probably still behind Buffalo, but I think it's a little bit closer than they were before. So they're definitely there in the much better category. Titans, I think, same. We know that they're going to take Cam Ward in the draft. So I think they're going to be much better at quarterback, at least as well. look, you can't be much worse. You only won. You're picking first in the draft. So I think they got up to 6 games as well. Interesting. I don't think the division is that strong. I think they did. I think getting Cam Ward, I think is going to go ahead and help them a lot as well. So I think I put them in a much better category. I do have the Chargers here. Look, I love Jim Harbaugh as a coach. I think he's got an identity. We know what we're getting from the Chargers minute one. I think the biggest reason why I have them in a much better category is I think when we get to Kansas City, we're going to see them in the worst. The biggest problem I think the Chargers and a lot of that AFC West had is they've been getting beat by the Chefs for so long. So I think the Chefs aren't going to be as good this year, and I think the Chargers are going to be the biggest beneficiary. The second biggest one I think is Denver. Denver, I think finally, look, Bo Nix is developing a bit of a roll of a dice. Like last year, the year before, getting rid of Russell. You had all that dead cap, hoping that Bo Nix was going to be good. Bo Nix, I think, is very good. They do need a running back, I think, in the draft. Courtland Sutton had a good year for them last year. I think he's ascending. Their offensive line, I think, is better than what people think. I think it's one of the better lines in the league. Defensively, I think I think there's room for them. I think they're going to be much better. I really like the Rams in the West. Same with the LA Chargers. The Rams, the Niners, I think, are not going to be the same team there. They got Matt Stafford back, which is going to help a lot. They do need some improvement, I think, on the line. I think defensively, I think they're going to get much better this year. They had some no-name guys that lost Aaron Donald. I think defensively, I think they get much better. I think they're probably the best. They could be the best team in the West as well. These better in the faux better category, or I almost say mo better. Another movie, Tyson Fairley. So the better. So these teams are a little bit better. All right, definitively better, but a little bit better. I don't think they're moving to the point of winning that many more games than they did. Buffalo, I think you could kind of also give the same analysis. I can't wait, Casey. I think Buffalo might be the best team in the AFC if it's not for the Ravens. I think they clipped up some holes in the offseason as well. They extended Josh Allen. They got rid of the receivers. They got a new group. They signed Shakir to an extension. They went and got Jordan Palmer in the offseason. They're still waiting on Keenan Coleman. Their offensive line, I think, is going to be improved. Defensively, I think they're solid. I did think they get a little bit better. The Browns, I think, only have to be better. This is kind of the one here that wouldn't be here if I didn't think they were drafting Shador. I think if they draft Shador, I think that makes them 1 or 3 games better. This is the one for sure. If they draft Travis, no. But if they went ahead and they draft Shador, which I think they're going to do with that predictive part of when you do this, I think they are going to be several games better. They're not as bad as people think as long as they have a quarterback, which they haven't had. They've had some horrible quarterback play. So just that alone is going to improve them. They did re-sign Myles Garrett in the offseason, so that's good. So I'll put the Browns in the 4 better category here. As well. Jags, I think getting Trevor Lawrence makes them several games better. They had a lot of injuries, but I think having Lawrence for a full season healthy that's enough to make them 1 or 2 games better. Division, again, the South, not a real tough division. They should be 1 or 2 games better. Raiders, I almost put them in a much better, but I'm going to leave them here because they do have much better at quarterback and coach. They have Pete Carroll coaching, which is a definite upgrade, and they have Geno Smith at quarterback, which is a definite upgrade. I don't think the reason they're not higher is because I don't think they're as good as just still probably the worst team in the division. They should have maybe 1 or 2 more games, but I don't think they're going to surpass the other teams in this divisions. The Commanders might be the best team, certainly one of the best teams in the NFC. I think Jayden Daniels is going to be the next big star in the NFL. There's no question about it. Outstanding quarterback as well. Check and see if the food's here. So I thought I was getting time. Jayden Daniels, I was checking on the food there. Jayden Daniels, I think, is going to be the best, one of the best stars in the NFL the next big star. They did go get Laramie Tunzel in the offseason. I think they are one of the better. Definitely, I think they're in the 4 better category. I think they should win 1 or 2 more games as well. Falcons, almost in the same, but I think they're better. I think that I'm kind of nodding to the upside of Michael Penix here, where you should win games. And I think that division is not very good. I don't think there's another team to take them out. I think they're going to be there with Tampa as well. They only have to get better. I think they do need a strong draft, kind of like these two, like Cleveland. I'm kind of predicting that they're going to be strong in the draft. So I think that's the biggest reason why I have them for better, and the division is not very weak as well. Better. Seahawks, I think defensively, I think they're going to be really, really good. I do like what I'm seeing with them on defense as well. They did also upgrade a quarterback with Sam Darnold over Geno Smith. So that is for better. Put him in that category. Have Sam Darnold there over Geno Smith, so that should win him some games as well. Put him in the better category. Bears are clearly in the for better category as well. They'll win more games. I don't know how far they're going to get because they're in a very, very tough division. I do think Caleb Williams to be better. They have a better coach, Ben Johnson. They're definitely going to have that. This reminds me of last year, similar to when Jim Harbaugh came into Los Angeles. We're going to run the football. We know what they're going to do as well to win more games. I don't know how much better they do as far as standings as well, but they're better, definitely. These teams about same, right? For worse or better, I think they're kind of in the same category. What was it there? Sorry about that. Or a problem with the food. Right. So in the same category, Baltimore, I think is same. You could put them in the same a lot of years. They're going to win games. They're going to win a lot of games. They're going to draft well. They lose more free agents than they get. This is the typical Ravens team. Steelers, I think, are in the same. I think it doesn't matter if they get Aaron. They're going to win 9, 10 games, etc. They're going to be in the same category as well. Bengals, I think they are going to be about the same. Playoffs as well. Quarterback is solidified. They're going to score points. They're going to struggle in defense. I think, about same. Maybe one way or the other as well there, but it's about same. Giants, I think they're still going to be bad. There is a chance that they get Shador in the draft, but they got Russell. I think the coach and quarterback, I think, kind of out the door, not very good as well. About same. Lions, I think, are about same. They're already really good. They've been good. They're hoping to get Aiden Hutchinson back. They didn't win it down the stretch. They lost in the playoffs. They'll be really good again. Same with the Packers. They're kind of similar to the Steelers. I think they're a good, solid playoff team. I don't know if they've done enough to actually go. I don't think they needed to do a lot. Just maybe tighten up a little bit in the playoffs. I think they're about same. Bucks, I think, same. That's good. I mean, I think the Bucks are better than what people think. They have the Bucks are better than what people think. They have Baker Mayfield back. They did sign Mike Evans. They did re-sign Chris Godwin. So I think there was a possibility that they were going to lose them. That they were able to keep a lot of their guys. I think their offense is good. I think they have some holes on defense, but I think about same. Carolina, same. I don't think they were any good last year. They might be a little bit better, but I don't have much hope in Carolina being a good team as well. I would say, though, they do have an opportunity to get a little bit better depending on the development of Bryce Young. So it is possible that they could be better. I will kind of lean more to that, but I think they'll be about the same. I think they're going to be about 6-10 6-11, something like that, kind of like what they were then. These teams are worse. Okay, so I don't think they'll be as good as they were last year. Dolphins are in the worst category. Their quarterback, I'm never sure if he's going to stay healthy. I don't know. That's always going to concern me. I think the line is a problem. They're trading away Ramsey, it looks like. There are issues there. I think the division, I think New England got better. I'm not in love with I've never really been in love with this version of the Dolphins in recent years. So I'm not now. The Texans are definitely worse. I think their offensive line can be saved with the draft, which is the only reason why I think they're not much worse. I don't know how bad they're going to be also too with Stroud there. So they're going to have a decent enough quarterback as well. So I think it'll be interesting to see with Stroud there if they're going to be if they're decent enough there as well. Colts, oh God, Chris Ballard. So you go out and you got Anthony Richardson and you replace Joe Flacco with Daniel Jones. I got no faith in you. I got no faith in the Colts. I got no. Daniel Jones will probably have to play at some point this year. I got no faith in you, man. I can't. I don't think they're any good. The Chefs are definitely worse. The Chefs are definitely worse. Kansas City is not. Kelsey, I think, is no longer the same player. Mahomes, I think, still outstanding, but I think like he can't carry the whole thing. I think he's regressed a little bit, at least in stats. I think that is offensive line issues. Defense is still really good, but I think they slip a bit. I think they go 1 or 2 games. I mean, and plus they won a lot of ridiculously close games last year. That was insane. What happened last year? Eagles, I don't take too much about it being 1 or 2 games worse. I think they're going to be in a dogfight with the Commanders all year long. That doesn't mean they're not going to the playoffs. It doesn't mean they're still not really good. But I don't know if their record is going to be quite as good. I'm not sure. Doesn't mean they're bad, but I'm not as good as last year as well. Arizona, I kind of have the same category of the Colts. To quote the movie Life, they just can't get right. They just Murray, we can't figure out if he's any good. He's good at times. They can't really fix the defense. They're in a really tough division. I think the Rams are there. I don't think they're any better. I think they win. I think they win fewer games. Much worse. I'm kind of cheating, put the Niners here because they weren't that good last year. So I don't know if there are 3 wins, but I kind of see them as the whole overview of the franchise with the Niners. The Niners have been good in recent years. Not the case this year. They're going to extend Brock Purdy. They lost a ton of guys on defense. I think their best offensive lineman is not that great outside of Trent Williams, who's now 37. McCaffrey, again, with the injuries. This could be 4 or 5 wins. Niners are not going to win this year unless Brock Purdy is way better than what we think. So in the much worse. Jets are much worse. You got no Aaron Rodgers. The biggest quarterback drop-off, I think, in the league with Justin Fields from Aaron Rodgers. You have some players on defense and offense, but you're not going to be able to throw for 3,000 or 2,000. It's not going to work. Cowboys, I think, are getting older. They're kind of getting chipped away little by little. They probably keep Micah Parsons, but Prescott is getting older. They got no running back. They may fix that in the draft. The line has been getting worse and worse. D-lines is getting worse and worse. DeMarcus Lawrence is now gone. Not any good. The Vikings, really, really good last year. So that factors in a lot to that. No. Vikings were really, really good last year. So that factors into that as well. Orioles up 9-1 here. that factors in. They should be really good. And Saints are I don't. They're a mess. I think like we don't even know it's a possible injury with the quarterback Carr that was really put him in the 4 worst category. If it is true, I don't know. Even in that division, even if they have Carr, that they're going to do much with that. So, yeah, I don't think so. So there you go. Better or worse.